How you doing, LaShawn?
I'm good, Pancho. How about yourself? I'm still hearing Louise in the
Can you
back.
hear me? Because I cannot hear you.
Hold on.
And you're unmuted, so I don't know what your sound issue is.
I'm picking up Louise. I'm still caught up in her. So I'm gonna hang up and come right. I'm gonna get out and come right back.
No, no, don't worry about it. You're fine.
No, but I can't. I'm hearing her in my ear.
Okay.
I got two computers.
And
I Poncho and LaShawn's over there on that computer. You guys are over there. Girl, I had to, and that's
all right, brother. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had to kill your other feed.
Yeah, yeah. Cause
Oh, you're good now. I had to kill your feed on
good.
the other side.
All right. Am I still? Do you hear her? Or is that still me? I'm hearing Louise in the background
You
still.
might hear her from my end.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Show up. It'll be a party.
Yeah, I have my microphone on, so I have her running in the background.
Okay. Sounds good.
I was virtually popping to nutshell.
Well, brother, I am ready. I'm going to do some painting.
I just killed her other feed, so she's going to probably come over this side. You can go ahead and get started, brother.
All
Do what
right.
you do, man. You want me to give you a full screen?
Yeah. Thanks.
Can you turn your camera sideways, or is you stuck on the upright?
Oh, it needs to be sideways.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me.
You'll get a full screen that way.
Hey, Pancho, let me go get my other stand right quick, okay?
Okay.
Hey, I had to make sure I ended the right link. I'm like, wait, let me make sure I'm going in the right area. But Poncho abandoned you, huh? It's Poncho for you. Can you hear me, LaShawn? Hey.
I didn't abandon him. He's getting another camera to set his camera sideways.
Oh, okay. I came out of that link, but then I was like, wait a minute, let me make sure I'm closing out the right link.
Yeah,
before I
yeah.
go over there. Yeah.
You're done good.
You know what was amazing though is while I was sitting here on this computer talking to Aaron and Gina Paskins, you and LaShawn was over on my other computer.
Yeah, because we hadn't closed out his feed on the other side.
Mm-hmm. And
we're learning all this tech stuff. We could run a TV studio after this.
I know, because I told Aaron and Gina, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be thinking about this because this is a dual broadcast because you guys were on that broadcast over there, and Aaron and we were on this broadcast over here, and I'm like, okay, I like that dual broadcast. You can broadcast out of two different studios simultaneously.
Hey, well, LaShawn is trying to get it together. He had his cameras upright. I was trying to see if I can get him to do it sideways.
Oh, okay.
And now his image is frozen. So if you can hear me, LaShawn, you can always put your avatar up until you're ready.
What? That's such a great image of it.
Well, speaking of images, Let's talk about this fly outfit you're wearing today.
Hey.
If you don't look the part, it makes me wonder what you're going to have for the finale day.
You know, this should have been my finale day, but I'm just, my whole thing is to wear black every day. Have on something black every day. This particular outfit I picked up in Turkey. This is one of my Turkish outfits, and I was going to wear it the other day, and I'm like, no, I'm going to wear it today, on Saturday, and because it has color, it has a lot of color and stuff like that. And it's funny because, I sing with Blues Behind Bars, and, they show up and they look real bluesy and everything. And then I show up like this.
Well, you know what, Louise? It might not be a bad time for folks just moving from the one channel to this channel to let them know a little bit about how the site operates while LaShawn's getting ready.
Okay, yeah, I told them. So let's go show, because I did some new things on the website. And I do still have, while LaShawn's on, I'm going to put those, because right now, what you just leave me, stay up, come back. Come back up here and hang out with me. I'm going to put you back up. You're hanging out with me. You can't just leave. You're hanging out. Stop leaving. Stop abandoning me. You got abandonment issues. LaShawn's still sideways.
Yeah, he's still trying to get together. He got it. I think he finally got it. I don't know. He's look like he's struggling down there, but it's all good.
You shouldn't have messed with him. You should just let him do his thing.
Hey, we always striving for perfection here.
All right, so what I did was, let me bring the website up. Let me take Gina, let me take theirs off. I went back and I kind of redid some stuff on the website because I'm like, wait a minute, if I could link this, then I could link the store. So I wanted to eliminate that step to the store
Right.
so that people could go directly to the store from your actual room page. And so that's what I did. And instead of them clicking and going to your Zoom link, and so I'm just going to store the Zoom links up top, and I'm going to have them go directly to your
the store.
Directly to the store.
Okay,
so
that's a good move.
So here is what we'll be doing. So when you go to the artist page, so here we are in the artist page, and then remember the Zoom link was down here. It's no longer down here. Now it goes directly to your store. So if we click on Larry Poncho Brown, you guys, and you go in and you're like, oh, you know what? Let me check out his work. Oh, all right. I like this. Yeah, this is going on. This is the stuff that dreams are made of. Okay. Then you can go right up here where it says Larry Poncho Brown, and you can click on that and go right into your store page. And so now I can go, where's that piece that I like? Oh yeah, it's this one right here. I'm gonna click on that. Yes, I'm gonna get this baby right here. Boom. And now I can buy that piece of art.
Fantastic. Sounds like you're resolving it every day.
Oh yeah, we're like making some serious history today. Okay. So and then tomorrow's the last day. Check out the schedule. Just click on the schedule. Check out the schedule. See when the artists are coming up. We still have some artists coming up tonight. So don't go away. Hang out with us. I know it's a funky little thing. I'm hoping by next year, Facebook will let us stream for 12 hours like YouTube.
Hey, well.
Jump. And
hey,
so,
whatever they do, we'll still be able to work around it.
Oh, we'll still be in here working it out.
We'll be pros by next year.
Next year we'll be handling it. We'll be
right.
We'll be showing everybody. And so today we have LaShawn coming up, Kevin's coming up after LaShawn. We also had Craig Scrivens coming up, and we actually have some live music coming up towards the end of the day, which will be exciting. We have some music coming up that'll end our day for us. And then we have tomorrow. So check the schedule out, see what you like. And then I'll be posting the links for the Zoom links. I'll be posting them just underneath each artist's name.
All right. Are you ready to try to see if LaShawn's ready?
All right, let's see if LaShawn.
Hey guys, I've been trying to get y'all. How do I get this camera to like the image to flip? You know, anybody know?
Oh, to turn backwards?
To turn around, to rotate it. So I'm upside down right now.
No, you're sideways.
You might have to take it off the stand and let gravity adjust it first, and then put it back.
There you go.
No, that's on the stand still.
Oh, it's on the stand.
You must have your screen locked so it doesn't rotate. You might have to unlock it.
Well, just turn it. There we go.
Is it a cell phone?
I'm gonna just turn it. Yeah, because it's a new cell phone. So I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, your screen is locked. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We can unlock it for tomorrow. All right, LaShawn, we're gonna stop taking up all your time. You know, Punch would like to be on all the time.
Hey, y'all know y'all need me. Stop playing. Stop fronting.
For real.
You don't want me to go.
You've been a savior, dog.
I'm the patch master.
Listen,
you sure are.
Tomorrow,
you sure are.
You here in the morning. Don't be leaving me hanging.
All right, LaShawn, kill him.
All right.
It's all you.
Hey everybody, LaShawn Bill here, and I hope you all are enjoying the Beauty of Blackness Fine Arts Show. It has been such a great time, a wonderful experience over the past couple days here, and we continue with it. This evening, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to do some painting. Because I want to give you guys behind the scenes about how we go about our daily lives as artists. So what I have is a painting here that is this painting just came from a show, and it's a little worn, so I have to touch it up. I had to do some touch-up work to it. So you guys are going to hang with me where I go ahead and get this thing going. Adjust that camera there. Bear with me for a moment. Trying to work out a little technical issue with it. There we go. All right, so we're going to work on this piece some, all right? And I'm going to tell you some stories along the way. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this piece. Now, this is a musical composition piece. You have a lot of different instruments in it. You got your upright bass, the rhythm, guitar, saxophone, your keys, and then you have the sheet music in the background there. So I like doing pieces like this because, you know, I'm a very like a static kind of artist and do a lot of pretty pictures, if you will. And this is one of them, the use of the colors in this particular piece. But, and like I said, in its travels, it's got damaged some, and it's got to be cleaned up before it can go anyplace else. So we're going to do just that. I'm gonna angle that a little bit. So hopefully you can see what I'm working on down here. Or better yet, I'll just raise it. There we go. So again, I want to share a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes is what goes on in an artist's life. The first story I'm going to tell you about is one of myself and artist Larry Poncho Brown. I have many stories of our time together, many escapades that we've had around the country. But one that is one of the most memorable that we always talk about, him and I, is a show we did in Detroit. So the show was just a show to us, and that's something that's very, very, very much routine. what made it a unique event was the fact that after the show, we hung out. Now, Detroit's my hometown, and Baltimore is his hometown. So we were on my turf, and I wanted him to experience some the finer things of Detroit, which is the food. So Pancho and I went to a what we call them a shrimp hut, and this is a place that you go to go pick up food, and this was actually a seafood one. So and they make the most tasty seafood. Something about their batter that is so unique in a lot of restaurants up there, and I don't know the secret, unfortunately, but I do know that it's good. So Pancho and I picked up a bucket of shrimp. A bucket of shrimp. We're two big, big guys. And a bucket of shrimp, should have been just enough for the both of us. So we go back to the hotel room that we're staying at, and we're kicking back, eating our shrimp, and watching something on TV. It was I can't think of the name of the series right now, but we're kicked back laughing, just really enjoying it. And this bucket of shrimp was getting smaller and smaller. But as it was getting smaller, our stomachs was getting bigger and bigger to the point that we couldn't eat all those shrimp. And we laughed about it, like how could we not tackle this bucket of shrimp? We pride ourselves being able to put away some food. But by the end of the evening, we did consume them all and had a great night. And the next day, finished up our shows and went on our separate ways. But it's little moments like that we have in our lives that are probably the most memorable. I mean, there's big events that we do, but the little small things that most people don't see are the things that we probably cherish the most. So, as artists, I like to mentor as well, and I usually will take another young inspiring artist with me on the road if they're in a position where they can start traveling like that. Because usually when I go on the road, I'm going to be on the road for 30 plus days. But for an artist that's trying to really get in the game, that's something that they need so they can understand, the routine, how brutal it can be being out here. And not to mention the kind of contact you can make over a 30-day period, or I should say a 30+ day period. So there was a young artist that was going with me. Actually, it was the last. No, he wasn't the last artist, but he was next to the last artist that I took out on a road with me. And his name is Rodolphus. And Rodolphus was such a character, or as I say, is a character. He can have you laughing a mile a minute. And the things that we got into on our road trips were just epic. I met Rodolphus when I was in Atlanta. He's a artist from that area, and I was at a frame shop getting some things framed, and he came in. He was aware of who I was, and so we struck up a conversation. And he said he was looking at some of the work that I had, and he wanted to buy a piece. And it was a small piece. I mean, I say small. The painting, it was a painting and it was like 5x7. As a matter of fact, it was something very similar to the piece that I'm working on right now, as far as the style of the piece. And Rodolphus took that piece home to his wife. He ran into the house, bust down the door, ran to the house, telling his wife, Angie, I got a LaShawn Beal original piece. So Angie was excited. She couldn't wait to see this piece. You know, she's thinking it's going to be this huge canvas, right? Rodolphus reaches to his pocket and pulls out this small painting. And she's floored, okay? Because she's like, dude, I thought you had something, you know, a real like nice original from him. So that kicked off our relationship. And shortly after that, we spoke for a while, and he wanted to expand his visibility around the country. So I invited him to go on the road with me, and we would go to all sorts of places. We just ran up and down the coast for several years, him and I, and making connections everywhere. And his clientele list grew just the way, you know, he wanted it to. And we learned a lot from one another along the way. I taught him a lot about some things in the business, as well as, you know, techniques for painting. And I learned things from him also. So it's little things like that that, you know, people don't get to see. But you say the behind the scenes of being an artist and what our routines are like. So I told you that I would be on the road for, you know, sometime months at a time, much like a musician. So in doing that, you stay in a lot of hotels. And by staying in a lot of hotels, you start building relationships with the hotel managers. So Atlanta was a regular stomping ground for me, and had actually several hotels that I would stay at on a regular basis, and it really depended a lot of times on how long I was going to be there at what hotel I would stay at. If I'm going to be there for a long time, there were my two go-to hotels, and one was a extended stay, the other one was a the Suites Hotel, and I became very close with the staff and the managers with both those hotels. So close to them to the point that at that time I was pulling a trailer on the back of my SUV that had all my artwork in it. And if I needed to leave my work there, I would just let the manager know, and they would keep an eye out for it, make sure that, you know, the authorities didn't come by and confiscate it. So on one of those trips, I was in Atlanta, and the hotel I was staying at, I had an emergency come up back home. So I had to drop everything and go and head back to Houston. And in doing so, I had to leave the trailer there in Atlanta. And it stayed there for probably a good month and a half. And I had gotten a call from the manager at one point, and he just wanted to confirm that, you know, my trailer was still there, that I hadn't forgotten about it or anything. And I said, yeah, I'll be back there. Tell him I'll be back in town to come by and pick it up. And he said, great, great. So Uh, that was a lesson on having good rapport with people, because you never know when you're going to need them. A lesson for everyone right there. Make contacts, be kind, be great, be gracious, be humble, be friendly, and make contacts, because again, you never know when you're going to need someone. And being on the road so much, spending time with my clients, I would build relationships where I'm going to be in a certain town. The clients will expect me to come stay with them instead of staying at a hotel. And that's another great thing. Let's say you building relationships and rapport with people, because that saved me countless occasions for not having the expense of uh, hotels, because I'm on the road for really extended periods of time. I may be in a certain city for several weeks, and to be able to do that is really a financial savings right there. Not to mention, allows me to bond more with my clients and get to know some of their friends and stuff as well. So for the artists out there that are just starting out, I encourage you to start building bridges, building bridges. Make contact with as many artists, particularly artists that are being successful at what they're doing. Make contact with them. Stay in touch with them, because you never know what could come of it. You never know what kind of jewel they may drop on you to help advance your career. You never know when one of them may ask you to say, "Hey, why don't you come on the road with me?" You know, if you're just staying in your studio, your space, and never going out to socialize, things like that, then you'll never get exposed to this stuff, and you'll really be losing out big time, because everything is about relationships. It's about relationship building. So that's my golden nugget for you. One of my golden nuggets for you today. That's my painting here. My technique of painting is considered dry brush. And what that is that you don't have a lot of water on your paintbrush, and you want your paint to be almost dry when you apply it. It's a loose way of painting. It requires layers to achieve the effect that I'm looking for. And even though it's a lot of layers, it goes by really quick, because the way I paint is a loose and quick way of painting. Once you learn how to master your palette, this becomes a very, very good way of executing a painting. I use my second hand here, I should say my third hand, my hair dryer. Can't do a painting without it. Remember, I said I work in layers. So you have to let one layer dry before you can apply the second layer or the next layer. And that's why it's so crucial to have a blow dryer. Now this only works, I believe, with acrylics. You can't do this with oil paint. So if you work in oils, you gotta try something totally different. And hopefully it's coming across in the camera in a way where you can actually see these little nuances that that I'm applying. So let's talk about the paints. I work with acrylics. Like I said earlier, acrylics is a water-based paint. I use all sorts of brands. Uh, it really just depends on where I'm at and when I'm gonna buy, where I can buy the particular paints from. Uh, I've learned to work with very expensive ones as well as the ones that are not so expensive. And what's the difference between an expensive paint or and uh, not so expensive paint? Mainly is the amount of pigment that's in the paint. So a lesson in how to choose your paints. If you want opaqueness, and opaqueness is when you apply a color and that color is there. It's not translucent where you can like see through it. If you're looking for paints that are very opaque, you want to make sure that you get the ones that say like titanium. It's just a titanium white in the title, or whatever color it is. It's going to be just that color name. If you want paints that are more translucent, you want to get the ones that have the name and then the word hue behind it or underneath it. When it's a hue, it's just as the word suggests. It has the tint of that color, but it doesn't have the amount of pigment that the regular paint has in it. That's like the basic difference. So when you're out there buying your paints and you're trying to get something that's on sale, you think it's a good deal because it costs less, it's on sale. You need to make sure that you're getting the right kind of paint. You want, if you're trying to get stuff that's going to really give you the color that you're looking for, you want to stay away from the hues. But the hues paints are very good for, and at least the way I use them a lot is for the undercolors in a piece. When I'm laying out a painting, I start with the bottom color that's coming through as I continue to paint the piece. For that bottom color, I don't need anything expensive for that particular part of the painting. So a lot of times I'll use the hues or some cheaper paints for that purpose. And then as I'm laying my layers of colors, then I go into my more expensive paints to get the final result that I'm looking for. So, we have to watch our dollars and cents as artists, because being an artist ain't cheap. Uh, so that's one way to make your dollars go a lot further. Know the difference between the paints. A good brand to use is Liquitex. You can get Liquitex pretty much at from any art supply store. Golden paint is another one that's very, very good. Golden makes some really, really nice paints that are opaque. They're a little bit more expensive, But again, like I said, you get the certain paints to get certain effects out of your work. You want the golden paints where you're trying to achieve that purity of color. You ain't gonna spend 20 minutes trying to get that yellow to become the yellow that you're trying to achieve because of the paint you're using, the type of paint that you're using. So a little will go a long way because, like I said, when you first start the painting, you're not going to use that concentrated paint, the one that has the most pigment in it. You can use something with less pigment and then build up to using the other paints. So what I'm doing now, I'm really just trying to balance out. I've painted over some areas that were damaged, and I'm trying to achieve getting back to a rhythm of color in this particular piece, where it's consistent in the color hues that are in it, so that it looks like it was all painted at the same time, as opposed to going back and reworking the piece some. I'm gonna go up here near the top of this piece. And what we have up here, and actually, I'm gonna lower this instead of me standing up and having you guys to squint your eyes to try to see it. We're gonna bring it on down a notch. How is that for you folks? Listen, I want you guys, I'm not concentrating on trying to sell you anything, because we already have a gallery on this site where you can go in and check out the works of all the artists that are participating in this show. So if there's something that you're interested in purchasing, please don't hesitate to go check out the different artist galleries that are on or within the website. There's studio spaces, and then also we all have our own individual websites. You can always check those out. Mine is LaShawnBill.com. You can always go there and shop. So again, what I want to concentrate on is really just giving you some behind the scene look at what we do as artists, and share a couple stories here and there. So I told you about the artist that I worked with, the one before last that took on a road with me. We stopped going on the road probably about about 5 years ago. He moved to another city and had his own thing going, and I continued to do my thing. So more recently, I had an artist that I took on the road with me, and we did a quick tour. We went from Houston to Maryland. I exposed her to some art dealers in Maryland. And from Maryland, we went up to New Jersey. From New Jersey, I introduced her to some of my clients in New Jersey. And then we took her up to New York and introduced her to some galleries in New York, and let her get a feel of what it's like, things you need to do, things you need to know when approaching galleries. So for you young artists that are just beginning, and you're thinking that you want to get your work into a gallery, if you're lucky enough to find a gallery, you want to make sure that your portfolio is tight. And when you approach the gallery, Ask them if it's okay to show your work to them. Don't come in there, you know, guns are blazing. Hey, I'm the newest hottest thing on the block. Check me out. Check me out. No, you want to approach them in a way that's respectful and not intimidating, um, and not to turn them off from even want to look at your work at all. You gotta be very professional when you're dealing with these people and stuff. Uh, so ask them if it's okay if you show you some of your work, and they say yes, it's good, and then you find out when can you bring your portfolio. Again, don't come there initially with your portfolio. Ask when can you show your portfolio, and if they tell you anytime, always have your portfolio with you because you got to be ready when opportunity knocks. So if they allow you the opportunity to show you it right then you go get your portfolio, show your work. Don't run your mouth while they're looking at your work. Listen. You're supposed to be listening. You want to know what someone thinks about your work. Uh, they don't need to know what you think about your work. They're trying to decide if there's something that they want to carry. That's actually what you're trying to do, is to get them to carry your artwork. If you're running your mouth, then you can't hear them talk. So let them check it out, be patient, and ask questions. What do you think about the work? You know, do you think this is something that your clients would be interested in? And based on their answers, will dictate what you need to do next. If they're liking what you do, they may offer to carry your work, show a few pieces to see how their customers, their clients respond to it. So you need to be open to that. If your main objective is to get your work into galleries, that is. What you may want to do to up your odds of selling something, if they say that they want, say, 3 pieces of your work, offer to leave 5 pieces of your work. That will offer you an opportunity to get the best results for the time that they have your work. And that's how you get your feet in the door. Always look for alternative ways of displaying your artwork, selling your artwork. I know a lot of the young people are using social media to do it, but there's other businesses that you can approach to show your artwork to and have them support you. Places like hair salons, restaurants, bars, places where a lot of people are going to congregate are some of the places that you want to look into as far as some place to carry your artwork. Restaurants are really good, but you have to be very careful because some restaurants open one day and close the next. And you want to be in a position where your artwork has been confiscated uh, without your permission because, the owners just up and left and they took your work with them. So you got to be mindful of stuff like that. But beyond the risk of it, it allows you to get your work exposed to a lot of people on a regular basis. And if your goal as an artist to get that is to get that exposure, that trade-off can be almost worth it. Because there is a certain amount of risk, but you know what? If your piece is just sitting in a closet anyway, what good are they doing you? The whole purpose of it is to get your work out in front of the public eye. So that's definitely something to consider. Build your mailing list. You start meeting people and they start purchasing your work. Get the people's information. Even if they're just liking your work, get their contact information. Send them out emails, send them out text messages. Let them know what you got coming out. If you're working on some new pieces, hey, I'm sending you a text so that you know this is what's new, hot off the easel, the catchphrase and a hook, I should say. And that's another way to help generate sales. So again, if you see people that are interested in your work, even though they're not buying it right then and there, doesn't mean they're not going to become a good customer of yours down the road. Get their information and stay in contact with them. Again, I also reiterate same thing when dealing with established artists. I'm not telling you to call them every day, but I am telling you need to keep in contact with them. Make a habit of calling them once every other month or something. And all you want to do is say, hey, I'm just calling to check in on you, see how you're doing. And from that interaction right there in itself, you never know what kind of jewels you may get out of it. You might find out about a show that's going on that you had no idea about. So that's some of the kind of things you need to do. These are the kind of things that artists, this is what we do to get the word out.
Hey, LaShawn.
Hey, Louise.
We've been enjoying you over your painting, and I see you're all engulfed in everything, and you've gotten some really nice comments. Kevin said he's learned a lot. Thomas is all in there. And Gail said, I am having, I am learning. She says she's learning from you, LaShawn. Okay, love the black foundation that you and Thomas uses. Oh, okay. So Gail,
yes.
Laura gave you a nice little heart, and Poncho, he all in there.
Right.
Who is this one? Okay, so let's see. This guy right here. Okay. So he said, beautiful painting, food and wine goes together.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And wine goes together as well.
All right. Wine and wine. So Kevin's up next. LaShawn, was there any other thing that you wanted to share before we bring Kevin up?
Yes. Again, listen, folks. This young lady right here is the mastermind behind this whole event. And she's done such an awesome job. I'd like for y'all to just drop her a line and just say, hey, great job, Louise. Great job. Let her know, as well as us, what you think about the show. Yeah. Give us words of encouragement to know that we're on the right path. We know we are, but it's always to get validated. It's very good to be validated. So please contact us, ask questions. If there's anything you want to know, even if the artist isn't there right now, pose the question, because you never know how that word may get passed on to someone that can answer that question for you. Please don't hesitate. This is the time to do it, because you don't get these kind of opportunities on a regular basis. Some of you have never had the opportunity, period. So you can imagine how long it'll be before you get the opportunity again. So take advantage. Take advantage of it.
Look, something tells me next year we won't be able to get them all in. So this is the year to get it in. This is the year to get it in. So thank you so much, LaShawn. It was great watching you paint. I love your colors. Your colors are all incredibly vibrant. So they're absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna bring Kevin in the room. Kevin in the room. Hey, Kev.
Hey, Kevin.
I can't believe this is day 3 already, huh?
I know. Day 3.
Right there, turn my light back on. It's kind of bright, but oh well, I'll get through it.
Well, it might just be bright once I put the whole thing on you, so it might just look bright right now. It's just a second.
Hold on, let me grab my light real quick.
Kevin's going to grab a light.
Grab my light. Grab my light. Technical
Gotta shine a light on him. Gotta shine a light.
And the light. All right. Kevin's already pretty bright. Now he's even brighter.
All right. So I want to do a recap. I want to do a recap from yesterday. So I'm going to share a screen and kind of go through some things I did yesterday. But like I said,
right.
everybody back for the video.
All right, Jeff.
So see you later.
Take care, guys. All right.
I was ready to get into it.
Go for it.
So what I want to do today, I want to share my screen again. I kind of want to do a recap of yesterday. Showing some artwork from a couple of my family members. And the reason why I'm doing that is just because I want to show how art runs in my family. So I just want to show that screen, if it can come up. Let's try sharing it again. Okay, it's not coming up. Let's see. You hear me, Louis? You still there?
I'm here, Kevin, but I don't see the screen. I don't see.
In there. Let me try.
Okay, wait, let me see. Hold on, let me move down. I think you're here. Okay, there you go.
Okay, there it is. All right. So we're back in business. All right. So what I wanted to do, I just want to go back and kind of do a recap of yesterday because we talked about giving back in art, and if you're a new artist coming up, you can learn a lot of things from different artists. But the artwork I'm showing you right now is from my Aunt Mary. She's a veteran of art. So I wanted to give her use this platform to show some of her work and some things that she's done in the past and some things she's currently doing. So this right here is a cover to a book that she's been working on, or did work on. And I was talking about yesterday, she works on, she does poetry and she writes plays as well. So she does multiple things as an artist. And generally, a lot of artists usually do more than one thing if you're, an artist. Anyway, going back, this is some more of her artwork. And just like LaShawn, he used a lot of bright colors in his work. My aunt, she works in acrylic as well, and she tends to use a lot of bright colors in her work also. I never had the opportunity to actually sit down and paint with her. That was one of the things that we had always talked about, us doing a show together when I was back in town in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But haven't had the opportunity yet, but maybe in the future we can make that happen. So yeah, she's a great artist as well. And I learned a lot from her. Like I said, when I was younger, I used to just watch her paint. She would have paintings on the wall, and it just amazed me as a kid. And I was like, and that's when I found out kind of that's what I really want to do. She does a lot of sports art as well. So this is the one she did Kobe Bryant when they passed away, of him and his daughter. So I thought this was a nice painting that she did, and she still tended to use the bright colors. And her backgrounds has a lot of abstract to it, but you still see the characters in the forefront of the painting. I like this picture of my aunt right here because she was dressed to match the self-portrait of her. So like I was saying before, you can see the bright colors that she used in her paintings. And it just makes those paintings pop. I talked to her the other day about the certain sizes she do, and she generally works between the sizes of 30 and 40, and sometimes smaller than that. Another painting of sports, like I said, she loved doing sports figures, and she liked doing a lot of well-known people in her paintings as well. And she does a lot of her own creations also. So of course we know this is Shaq, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant again. There goes the color. See how she uses the color? Her color just pops. It's like kind of like abstract mixed with realism, and it's in her own style. I was talking to her, and she was talking about the way she created her artwork and how she likes to just draw from her subject matter, and then she likes to add to a subject matter. And she goes to church all the time. So if you look at her signature, that's one of the things I noticed that she does when she signs her signature with the T. It's like a monogram, or you can kind of say a logo. It's a cross. And like I said, most of my family's from the South, between Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. So there's a lot of paintings that tell stories, and she's a storyteller. Like I said, she's a historian of the family. When we have family reunions and stuff like that, she's the go-to person if we don't have all the information about our past and how our family history started. I know a lot of it. It's a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to get to it right now. But anyway, you can see how she incorporated photos from the past in the back of a painting in the background. And that dresser that's back there, we have similar furniture like this. She lives in my grandmother's house to this day. She took the house over when my grandmother passed away. But some of this old furniture like that is still in my grandmother's house. So like I said, she's the family historian. And once again, back to the celebrity type of work. She did this of Aretha Franklin in acrylic. You know, my aunts, of course, they're older than my mom, they're older than me. So that's the era they grew up in, you know, Aretha Franklin. So they're fans of a lot of the music from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And my aunt is always giving back to the community. So right now, this is one of the elementary schools in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She always does events with seniors. She does events with the elementary. And like I was saying before, you know, before the COVID-19 hit, she would always do summer camps where they're teaching kids to paint and working with seniors. Going back to historical stuff of generations, like I said, she loves telling stories. She loves keeping track of the family. We always do things based on family union. When we have family union, she'll open up the book. She'll talk about family, you know, things that happened in the past, who's related to who, how they got married, and how we all connect. And then back to religion. This one is a WWJD, which means what would Jesus do? Okay, so this is kind of like a collage piece where she actually put a 3D object on top of the painted canvas of acrylic, and she got photos of Mandela and stuff like that. And where she does do things historically, you know, things that we should be aware of, in you know, in the movements and stuff like that of Black history and the past. Okay, so again, I'm gonna move back to our next family member, which is actually her grandson, my cousin. He's on his journey to become an artist. He's been painting out through high school. Now he's in college to get a degree in art. This is his freshman year. So he was just like my son, my youngest son, not my youngest son, but one of my sons. He was a graduate of 2020. So, you know, I hate to use that term, you know, the COVID graduates, but this is a different era that we're in. So these kids coming out of high school now, they have to adapt to these changes. But the cool thing about this, they're still thinking about their dreams and not giving up. They're taking a chance on themselves. So this first painting, I believe, commission painting by Jason Watkins, is called Destined to Greatness. So keeping with positivity and stuff like that, I think he did a good job on how he flipped the colors and how he added texture to the background. You know, you have the maroon close to the red color on top, and you have the golden back. And I like how he split that in half so you can focus on the face, but at the same time, because, you know, red is the color that attracts you to it, but you have enough red that balances out at the bottom between the top and the bottom. So I love this piece as well. Here's another one where he used more of the pink colors and greens. And this is another portrait. And this one also called Destined for Success. So I love how he put the crowns in both of the images because they show positivity. I love the texture, how he put it into the background. And I like the highlights in her face. So you see how he put the shadows from front to back, and it looks real good. Very nice. Going back to Juneteenth, these are some more things he did celebrating Juneteenth. I don't want to get the history of Juneteenth, but just want to show that he's connected with it as a young, you know, graduate from high school. And it's amazing how kids are learning about the history, learning about what things mean. And we talked for the last couple of days how we are recorders of history as artists and how we record art. So basically, this is what he has done: is a recording of history. You know, we got kings and queens. We're bringing up the kids. We're not working together. Sometimes we just meditating and thinking to ourselves about things that are going on in life. He's from the city of Nashville, home of the Titans. You know, I was stationed at Fort Campbell one time, real close to Tennessee, and all I would hear was about the Titans. But when I used to go visit the family in my Murfreesboro, you know, one thing that stood out to me was how tall these buildings were when you hit the city. As soon as you hit the city, you see the skyline, the buildings are real tall, they hit you in the face. So I love how he captured the lighting in the water and reflects from the buildings. Very nice. All right, so this right here, you know, it's a conscious painting, I believe, and it's called Psychological Enslavement. So he's conscious about what's going on in the world. I like how he used the colors. He kind of used like darker colors, the black and white, but then he uses the colors that he wanted in the areas that he wanted you to focus on, i.e. the chair the kid's sitting in, the carpet in the middle is red. So as soon as I look at this painting, I see what's going on with the king and the shackles. I'm not sure if I'm just putting that word out there. And then you have the ones in the background, they also render in the crowns. You know, you can see those because those colors are popping in that crown. And I was talking about this painting yesterday. This is a nice painting. It looks almost photographic. It's black and white, of course. It's called Watkins Avenue. And like I said, their last name is Watkins. And so this is a cool painting where it's him and his brother and his dad. and how they actually took the painting. I love the title of it, Watkins Avenue. Very nice. I played this video yesterday. I'm not going to play it again. I just wanted to do a recap of all the stuff that I showed you of their work. And like I said, it's in our family. We all love doing artwork. And so hopefully one day we all get to do a show together. And last but not least, I want to share this. This is my son, Antonio. He's an artist in his own right, and he was learning how to paint. So he got the basics down of shapes and stuff like that because he knows that shapes are the basis to getting painting right. If that's what you're going for, if you're going for realism, it just depends on the style you're looking for. Usually when people are starting out painting, I know I did, you're trying to figure out the right way to do things. We tend to copy things the way we see it, just because sometimes it's hard to use your imagination just starting out to become an artist. And this is another pencil drawing that I want to share with you all and let you all take a look at it. So pretty nice shading. He got his dark areas, he got his mid tones, and he got his lights and his highlights on the face, so it's coming out pretty good. So hoping he's not living here with me right now. He's living with my parents. So hopefully he's going to stay on his track. I know he does artwork every now and then, so hopefully he stays on his track because we all love art. Okay. So I did a recap of that. So what I want to do now, I want to do another recap of something I showed yesterday about practicing and trying to work through a painting. I'm not going to go through the whole process like I did yesterday, but I do want to go ahead and talk about it because I want to add some other things I want to talk about. All right. It's going to be a minute before my software open up. If it was the wrong one, which it wasn't going to. So let's do it like this. Open with, there we go. All right, it's coming up. So feel free to ask me any questions as I'm going through this, as I show you guys a few things. This is just something that I went over yesterday, just kind of showing you my thought processes and stuff like that, what I think through as far as a painting. Let's see, let me zoom out of this a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. So basically what this is just thumbnails of me trying to figure out how to create a painting. As I talked about this yesterday, go through several processes for the elements and the design that I want. I already know that this painting right here is going to be with these elements. It's already laid out the way I figured I want to do it, but I just want to give you the thought process I did behind it, okay? So originally when I started designing this idea for a painting, a lot of the elements were larger than the others, some were smaller than the others. So the idea was to arrange to get a good composition so the painting would be well balanced and the design would be well balanced, okay? So in other words, you want the painting to be appealing, okay? So finally, the ones I decided on was these lower four at the bottom that you see here. And then the middle one was kind of the one I was going to go with. And I said, oh, it's kind of close. And just because of the lighting and stuff like that in the figure's face. And then this next one right here, I had kind of the same thing, but I had birds going across. I didn't want that one. And then this one right here, I have to the bottom left, I had birds behind the sun on the left side, up above the two figures or the subject matter in the painting. So then what I did was I said, hey, let me move it down here to try to see if I can make it happen down here. And I didn't quite think that it was going to work. And then this one I didn't even finish, but in the end, I decided to use the one at the bottom. So that's how I came up with this design right here. Like I was saying yesterday, this is what gets me started if I want to get this look in my design. Sometimes I draw things from imagination. Sometimes I'm looking for a certain look that I want to get. Things that's going to appeal to me. Like I said, I have the two fellas in this painting right there in the subject matter. They had light coming from a different direction, so I decided to flip. The sun was going to be my object in the painting. Was going to bring both of them together, and I think that worked. And so to add color and clarity to the painting, I added the flower, then I added the bird as other element. So the bird kind of, as the sun is there, and you see both the figures in the middle of the sun, that brings them together. You see the flower in the middle has brighter, more colors that attract you in that direction. But as you're looking in that direction, you all see the bird right in there. And I didn't have the bird in the middle to block anything. I kind of broke the image up a little bit where the bird's wing is broke off the flowers, so to kind of get it a different shape where you can see the bird shape right here. It's not caught up in the silhouette of the flower. And that's one thing I didn't mention yesterday, and I'm not going to get into it, but sometimes, when you do your thumbnails, you can create silhouettes. And silhouettes is in black and white. And basically what that does, it breaks up the image where you can just see the black and white, and that silhouette allows you to see how your painting is going to form. And the idea is, if you zoom, let me try. It's not a silhouette. If you zoom all the way back, your picture shows up, and you can still tell what it is, and it's a good design. Okay. All right. Other than that, with that, I'm going to get out of this and try another one. Actually, I'm going to go here and minimize it. It'll be up in a minute. No, we did it again. Hold on. All right. Open with. Yeah, when I was trying to open up another software, I was trying to open it up because it's a PSD file. But anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing just like I did yesterday. But basically what I was talking about is here. Sometimes when you find references, if you want to use reference, you can design things the way you want to design it. You can make up things and stuff like that. But sometimes if there's a certain look that you're trying to get, you might want to find some reference. And sometimes the reference might be copyrighted and stuff like that. So you guys got to figure out ways as artists to be creative and try to change up those objects to make them your own. So myself, I do 3D modeling and stuff like that. And I work with 3D work as well. So I figure out how to create faces in my 3D where I can take those faces and create new faces for the painting. So basically what I do, I turn down the opacity of one, kind of line up where I see other faces at right there. I clean that up a little bit, and then I take it. So what happens, I get to the final result. So I'm going to turn all these layers off so you can see my final result. So that's not the final result. That's the final result, okay? So the face has changed, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit to you. I didn't do that yesterday. It still has some things that you need, the information, if this is what you're looking for. My style is a little bit of realism and stuff like that, along with the graphic style. And my style is changing. My style is evolving. But later I'm going to show you how I kind of started out painting things, and over time, how we evolved to where I'm at now. But for right now, this was a look I was going for. The face is different, but I still wanted a realistic look to some of the elements. And matter of fact, some things are even in the photo I still use, like there was a strap right here. I'm not using that in my painting, okay? Even with the hair and stuff like that, even though it's here, because there's so much detail in it, I don't need all the information. I just need the basic shapes to get me where I'm going, okay? Graphic elements, like I said, if your designer's working in graphics, I try to mix it up where it's realistic, but it has some graphic style things that kind of capture your imagination. And like I said yesterday, you don't want to stick to exactly what you see. As an artist, you still got to be creative. And I'm going to show you some drawings I did last night where I did use no reference or anything like that, but I just use my imagination just to get the idea to forget where I want to go with my next paintings, okay? So, yeah. So that's my last demo, I believe, in here. So let me double check just to make sure. I'm going to still do screen sharing, but I just want to show you guys. But let me get through the screen sharing first, and then I can show you some drawings I did last night. Since we're already set up for screen share, I'm going to go back and forth, okay? So another thing that I've been diving into lately is trying to jump into sculpture, because as artists, I do myself, I get bored a lot of times because I'm always going to learn new things. So one thing I've been diving into right now is sculpting. I started sculpting a couple of years ago. I haven't done a lot of sculptures. It's a back and forth thing for me. But with that said, I wanted to show you guys this, if I can pause it and bring it over to here. All right, I'm gonna bring it over. Minimize it. Bring it to my other screen so you guys can see it if you want to work with it. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. All right. So what I want to do, I want to kind of walk you through this. So basically, I do some traditional and digital sculpting, but I'm going to show you reason. I'm going to talk to you about things that can help you from doing certain things and working hand in hand. So anyway, I know this morning or yesterday, Craig talked to you guys about doing digital painting, and I know Larry told you guys some stuff about VR. So technology is around for you to use for the purpose that you want to use it for. So for me, I do 3D modeling, but I still want to use clay So doing the digital 3D modeling, or say sculpting, digital sculpting, it gets to a point where I can still create and learn things. Okay. So in this video, I did have some reference. And basically what I was doing, I was sculpting in clay, digital clay, and I'm gonna show you a video about that real quick. But I'm rotating this so you can actually see that there is volume that's not a flat 2D image, okay? And just like sculpting with clay, you still have to get the form, you still have to get the shapes, and you still have to make everything work. The computer doesn't do everything for you. I know a lot of people, I talked about that yesterday, a lot of people in the past, before the digital age started kicking out, they thought that, you know, the computer does everything for you. Once again, like I said about the painting and digital sculpting sometimes is more tedious than doing sculpting by hand. But the cool thing about digital sculpting, before you start your traditional sculpting process, you can work out your ideas here first if that's what you want to do. I know some people want to get into the flow and things happen, and that's good. But my process, I do it that way too. But sometimes I want to jump in the computer and dive and say, what if? What if I do this? What if I do that? And if I know it's not going to work for me, then I want to just be able to test it sometimes. And that's totally up to you if you want to do that as well. Anyway, so what I want to do now, I'm going to show you a quick video, and I'm going to try to move it along fast. I'm going to let it play a little bit so we can actually show you sculpting process. This is me sculpting. It's going to look like the computer is doing it, but it's not. Just watch the different brushes. Just like in the real world, you have a rake brush to sculpt. You also have a rake brush in digital, among other type of brushes. So this is that video. I'll let it play. So it's playing slowly. And then the computer, if you look at the top left, I was talking about silhouettes earlier to get form and shape. That silhouette in the top helps you figure out if you're getting the correct form on your model. Okay. So you can see there's different type of brushes. You choose your brush. You can pick the size of your brush, and you can actually get in there and start to sculpt. Okay. So I'm just working through different shapes, trying to get the form. And like I said, the computer's not doing nothing. I'm picking up tools. I'm getting here sculpting. I'm smoothing things out just like you would do with your hands in regular clay. You get the brush, you get that brush to carve things out for you. Right now, I'm building up the shoulders in this, doing layers of different types of clay. Smoothing things out again. So you can get your forms. If something you're not happy with, that's what a lot of people say about, you know, once you start getting used to doing digital work, you can click the undo and go back. But once you do it in real life, a lot of times you can't go back. You can work some things sometimes, but it just depends. Like if you're using acrylic paint, only thing you can really do is paint back over top of acrylic. If you're using watercolors, you just have to figure out a way to get that fixed. You can't really rework that stuff. You can work with your faults. There's nothing wrong with that. We're having faults. It's happy accident in creating art as well. So I love getting happy accidents because it might turn out better than what I had intended in the first place. So throughout this whole process, right now, I was just trying to get the form right. And I didn't show you the beginning of the video, but with anything, there's building blocks of making forms. You start with circles, cylinders, and stuff like that, and then you go in and start building your form. Before you add any detail at all, you just want to make sure you get your proportions right. So I figured out my proportions right in this, but what I'm doing is going over the process over and over again, correcting and trying to get the right forms for what I'm making right now. So in the end of this video, or at the end of what I'm talking to you guys about today, I'm gonna show you how all of this comes together. I know because this is a fine art show, but as an artist, like I said before, there's things that you can learn to incorporate in the real world to those things that you want to create as far as fine art as well. Like I said, things in technology are changing so much. Sometimes you want to figure out how to do things different ways just to create different things that you want to create. Yeah, so just moving and working the shapes out. I know, a lot of people get intimidated with digital tools, and I was intimidated as well. But just like any type of tool that you use, remember it's a tool. You just have to figure it out and just make it work for you. And don't, worry about trying to be perfect right away. Don't try to worry about copying what somebody else is doing. There's nothing wrong with copying, but don't get to the point where you don't think your stuff is good enough and you shouldn't show your work. It just takes practice and doing it over and over again until you get it right. I used to get frustrated, believe me. But over time, because I used to try to say that's not right, I want to look like this way, and I couldn't get it to that point. But what I learned to do, I just learned to get comfortable with what I could do and make the best of it. And then over time, I did get better with my work, and it just started to show. Okay, so I'm gonna speed this video up just a little bit more because I want to get to some other things. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. So throughout this video, I'm just basically working on the form, trying to get shapes right, trying to get things done, trying to make things happen. Okay. And I want to show you one more video. So like I said, I'm a fan of many artists. And so when I'm learning to use the software, I was trying to look at some of the artists' paintings to see if I could recreate some of their paintings in 3D. So one particular painting that stood out to me, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. This is not my work. This is Kevin A. Williams' art. I love his work. Like I said, he was one of the guys' work that I looked up to when I was first trying to figure out what I wanted to do in art. And I was in the military. And matter of fact, I think his was like really the first person or one of his arts I saw that really blew me away. But anyway, this is a video of one of his paintings that I saw online. And I said, man, that would be great. There's something to challenge myself just because of the forms and the way the shapes are designed, the way shapes fit in together. So I just did a sculpture just as a fan thing, just to see if I could bring it to life in the computer. And yes, it worked out. I mean, I didn't hit everything correctly, but like I said, this was practice. We learned, and I want to see as possible because what was going to happen, like I said, one day I want to bring my vision to life in 3D or a physical world. Okay. All right, get here. All right. So as an artist, I'm always trying to try new things. All right, so I'm gonna come back to full screen. All right, so what I want to do now, I want to kind of talk about some things I just talked about, how I bring that together, what I do and what I'm striving to do, because I'm still learning. I don't know everything, but these are things that kind of help me on my journey. So the first thing I want to show you, like I said, I know Craig does digital painting. So I'm going to do a digital painting I did and then took my own style and added to it. Okay. So this is a digital painting that I did. And, we talk about the value of painting and stuff like that. You heard that other artists and talking about it earlier today about marketing your art, talking about the value of art. And original paintings are more valuable than the digital paintings. So this was going to be a print that I was going to put out. But a lot of artists, what they do now, they do what they call a remark. So they print out a print of the original painting. On that print, they do some more painting on the print, which makes it a remark. So what I did, I said, let me try something like this. So I did a digital painting. And then what I did, I took acrylic paint and I went back over it. So like I said, there's rules of paint, but you don't have to always stick to those rules. If you're trying to think of something, that's what art is about. You're being creative, you're trying to produce new works of art, you're trying to create nothing new under the sun. That's what people always say. But you can always make something new to something that's already been done before. So this is actually digital paint I did a little while ago. I had it printed on actual archival artwork, fine artwork. This is not regular paper. If you can hear, it has some weight to it. So what I did was I took acrylic paint, went over here to certain spots. I'm not going to tell you which ones. I just want you to be able to guess and see if you can tell me what areas have the acrylic paint. Okay, so that's the one thing I wanted to show you. All right. So getting back to the 3D sculpting thing that I showed you guys earlier, there's a few things I want to show you So like I said, 3D, the things I do in the computer help me out in the real world. So doing the digital sculpting, you know, as I'm doing, I still have to know form. I still have to know shapes. I still know, you know, silhouette just to get me where I'm going to. So that said, I'm gonna show you the scope. It's not pretty. It's still a work in progress. But like I said before, doing it digitally kind of helped me start to work on form. So I don't know how good you see that. So there's not a lot of detail on the face right now. I'm still working it out. Okay. Trying to get those forms right. Okay. So probably see it better back here. All right. So with that said, the cool thing about the 3D sculpting in computer is just like sculpting with clay. I mean, you have to know how to use the brushes and stuff like that. But the cool thing about doing it that way is you can get something like this. Okay. This is actually a sculpt that I did in 3D sculpting, like I just showed you earlier from the video. But now it came from my head to my computer, and now it's in the physical world. You see that? The detail on that's just paint, because I did paint over primer before I didn't finish painting. But it comes out with that detail. If you see the detail in the back, in the arms, and in the face. And this is resin. Okay, this was printed by a 3D resin printer. And here's another one I did. Thing about resin coming off a 3D printer, you have to make sure it's cured correctly. If it's not cured, if it falls, it's going to break apart. This one broke apart. But look at that. So this came out of my imagination into the computer and then back into the real world. All right. So enough of that digital stuff. All right. So getting back to what I was saying about practicing drawing and working through the process, I do thumbnails in Photoshop. I do things on paper as well, get my thought process. If I want to get on the computer, because with my job that I have, I'm on the computer all day anyway. I do a lot of my work on the computer. So I want to get on paper sometimes, okay? So using a Conte pencil last night, I had some ideas painting. There you go. You see it right there. You can kind of see some of my designs laid out on paper. So I'll figure out how to do these designs on paper as well. And then after that, I go to canvas with the idea and then go to paper. No reference was used for these. These are just my thought processes with the style that I've been working in lately. And that's what I do sometimes, okay? And here's another one I like this one very much. I was watching TV last night and I drew this from imagination. And it kind of flows with the things I've been doing in my paintings that I got on the website now. Remember, you can find my paintings at the Beauty of Blackness Fine Art under the Artist 2020. Go to my gallery and you can see my name on there. Click on my name and you can see my other artwork. What else I have up there for sale? But like I said, this is right here. Okay. All right. So as an artist coming up, like I said, I was in the Army for 20 years, so I didn't have training to learn how to do everything. I taught myself how to do everything that I wanted to learn how to do. Even doing the digital sculpting and stuff like that, I taught myself. But along the way, I learned that you have to find the tools and the references to help you teach you to get you where you want, if that's what you want to do. Okay. So I just want to show you a few books or show you some things that I found that helped me out on my journey. When I couldn't go to school, even when I was downrange and deployed, I was always studying. So I want to show you a few things that I had to help me out. All right. So if you're a figurative artist, and nobody's sponsoring me or anything on this stuff right here, but if you're a figurative artist, I got a few books that can help you out. This one right here is a good one called Brigham's Life Drawing. I don't know if you can see it. You know, if you want to understand anatomy better, this is one of the books that helped me go on my journey to drawing figures and sculpting as well. Okay. How to Paint Like the Masters is another one. This is just a book with different old master techniques and stuff like that, if that's what you want to do. I read this book a lot. Wasn't where I was going with it, but there's a few things I picked up out of it. Okay. And then finding books on other artists as well. If you see some of my paintings, you might see a little bit of style from these paintings coming into mind. That's Gustav Klimt. He's a painter from back in the day. So there's a lot of cool designs and stuff in it for reference. It's not copying stuff, but it's trying to get ideas to start clicking in your mind. And I would tell you just to try to find books and stuff like that that can help you on your journey. I'm going back to sculpting. I know I'm getting away from the digital thing, but I found a book that helps you with sculpting as well, showing form and shape and hands and stuff like that. Okay. And that's some more stuff in the book right there. And this book is called ZBrush Character Sculpting. And then for your traditional sculpting, this is another book called Pop Sculpture. It's another book that helped me on my journey to learning, especially like right now in COVID-19. A lot of people suggesting that because if you stand at home, find some things that you can learn from. So this is another book right here to help me on my journey to sculpting. Or it's helping me now because I'm not a good sculptor, but I'm learning. And last but not least, reference. I have a friend, the artist Thomas Blackshire. I know I mentioned his name before. He had a lot of figurine line that came out a long time ago, and I want to learn more about figure and form and how he was his journey to doing sculpture. So I found this book, and I went through it, and it shows all the process and designs and drawings in there to let you know his path to making his sculptures come to life. So any reference, if there's certain things you want to learn, yeah, you can learn on your own, which I have done a lot, but also trying to find reference to help you learn stuff, you can get a lot out of it. Okay. So on my journey as an artist, I told you my time is short. I'm gonna go as long as I can go. So what I want to do real quick is show you how over time my artwork progressed. And like I said yesterday, I love doing realism. So I wanted to combine graphics with my realism, but on my way to doing the realism art, I had to practice. And practice goes with everything, from sculpting to drawing to painting, singing. I can't sing at all. But anyway, these are some of my early oil paintings just when I was trying to practice getting forms and shapes. And I was still in the process of learning how to do that. And this is a monochromatic, just taking a couple of colors on the board and just practicing. I didn't care how it came out. I just found some photos, magazines, just try to get those shapes and forms with shadows, midtones, and lights. And here's another example with the background toned in, so I'm not going to get much into it, but yeah. So for my practice, before I was doing my own ideas and creating nothing, I would just find people's portraits to paint. So here's a gouache painting. So this is gouache. I'm hurrying up, Louise. This is a gouache painting of Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt was on top of the world, he was on the cover of a magazine, so I took that and I painted a portrait in gouache. Here's another one. I can figure in gouache. Chris Rock, gouache on paper, watercolor paper gouache. This is just a painting of a little kid I found, gouache. Then I got brave and jumped into acrylics. And then I started to add other elements that I was drawing in the process. So I threw the flower in there. So this is acrylic on illustration board. This is while still starting to gain and start doing more things. This is a acrylic illustration board. So as you can see over time, I started to grow, but I started to add more designs in my paintings. And I got to do a shout out with this one. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Muhammad Ali. So this is a painting I did of him in gouache, and I was paying homage to him. It's something I wanted to get done and made it happen. Okay. All right, I'm gonna pass my time, Louise. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, I just said I can't hear you.
Sorry. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I think what was your time until 5:30, right?
Yeah.
You were 5:30. Yeah. No. You were fine. I those were all gouaches.
Yeah. The first ones were gouache because gouache was kind of easy. I wanted to try watercolor. Mm-hmm. Watercolor for me is hard to rework once you make a mistake. You make that mistake. But like I said, if you like happy accidents, that's fine. But gouache was like that middle part between doing watercolors and doing acrylics. So, okay. But the cool thing about gouache is once it's dry, you can rework it. If watercolor dry, you can't rework it. And I'm talking about paper, not on your palette, but on the paper. Okay, so I don't know. Have you done watercolors before?
Yeah, gouache is just a little flat. What was that? I didn't hear you, Kevin.
I was saying, have you used watercolors before in your painting or no?
Yeah, I've used gouache before. It's a flat color.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to show one more thing, if you don't mind. So on my journey as an artist, there are some cool things that happened to me on my journey, and some things are still happening. So in all that practice, I started doing small paintings and using social media. We talked about marketing stuff on social media. I learned to paint small paintings. That's how I started painting. But now you see I'm getting bigger with my paintings in the back. But a small painting was commissioned by me for a cover of a pulp magazine, a pop novel. So this was about a pirate named right here that was used for a cover for a novel. The African American pirate, female, and it's with Airship 27 Pulp Fiction books, produced that on the cover of the novel. And so what I'm trying to say is if you are doing, you're practicing your work, people start to take notice. I was posting my stuff on Instagram and Facebook, and a publisher saw my painting and they wanted to know if I could do paintings for covers. And I said, I've never done it before, but I try it. And then I did it. And so they published us on the cover of the novel. And so I've done a few more covers for that company after a while. And then they put out a book that came out called Who's Who and New Pop. So I end up in this book for top 20 for 2020 for Who's Who and Pulp for some of my paintings. So doing work with those guys. So
All
just
right.
getting back, huh?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, talking too much today, huh?
No, I'm saying, you're fine. You're fine. I think Craig is in there. I think Craig comes up at 5:30. But go ahead.
So, but last of all, I just want to say, just if you can continue to work on your dreams and work on your craft, there's all kinds of things that you can get out of it. That's all I want to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's always a delight to have you.
Right.
I hope you'll be able to show some more of that because you did run through it very quickly today for people to see. So hopefully you'll get a chance to show a little bit more without not being so quickly. So,
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we are going to be bringing Craig Scrivens up, our digital artist. We're going to be bringing him up in just a moment. He just disappeared. He was there a minute ago, so I'm going to wait till he comes back. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us at the Beauty of Blackness Fine Art Show. I hope you're taking advantage of visiting some of the artists' rooms on the website and just hanging out with them and going and Zooming them. I hope you guys are doing that. Who's doing that? I want to hear from people. Let me know if you had the chance to check out some of the artists in their rooms. And I just put in a new link in the room where you can actually go right to the store from the room. So check that out. I'm going to bring Craig up. Hey, Craig, how are you today? Hi, Craig. How are you today, Craig? Can you hear me?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Yes, I can hear you.
You've made it to day 3. Day 3. Did you think you'd make it? Huh? Did you think you'd make it
Day
all the way?
3. What was that?
Day 3. Oh, I said.
I didn't hear what you said. You went in and out.
3 when we first started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been quite the journey.
Day 3.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
It's been good.
Yeah, it is looking good. You're doing a great job. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I was wondering about that.
I know, but you did a fantastic job. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and you go ahead and share. Craig Scrivens, he is a digital design artist, and he has some absolutely amazing work. Check him out on his page at Craig Scrivens on our YouTube channel. Click on 2020 Artists, and you will find Craig's work. So here he is, Craig Scrivens.
Hi. My name is Craig Scriven again. Thank you for coming to the Beauty of Blackness Fine Art Show. Today we're going to go into a video that I did with music that I composed. Hi, Tracy. These are the masks we wear, and this is and the different figures that I put into it. I'm working with different textures and colors. I'm going for the more abstract look than a realistic look right now, and they're mostly silhouette faces. I'm also trying to do a 3D feel for the faces too, and bringing out some of the facial features. In this one, we went to the mask I was wearing, and I did a facial picture of me. And the last one was the movement of the mask, where I combined a whole bunch of the masks together. The dusting series is coming up next. We talked about this on the first day. Dusting series Dance 5 was the one I was talking about. And it started with the dusting, where there's a man and God coming down. And then you have Earth, Wind, and Fire dusting. And it just goes through the dance figures that I was trying to do. And it was always bringing light from the back to the front and making the figures translucent. And they're always using those 3D stone figures. Dusting of the brown, captured, very colorful, using colorful and the stone figures, using texture on these. And then this is a mixture of all three, colorful and texture, just pile them in there, and layers and layers of artwork. There's another one that was piled of figures and artwork and texture. Going into the artist series. The artist series is about me holding the light, and the light is the talent and the knowledge. And this is how it started off. It was me getting photographs of myself and adding texture and light and transparency through it. Then I did mirror-like images. Made the images look at each other. So it was messing around with all kinds of compositions. Now we're going to go into another phase of my old artwork. And let me get to the first one. The first one was the one I did on Friday. And it hasn't been titled yet, but it's a piece that I did as a demo. And it started with me being in there with a picture of Obama, and then I brought in a picture of a lady right here. Brought in a picture of a lady, and then I brought in a picture I drew in a picture of a man dancing and silhouettes of people in there, and then added texture to it. So you can see that my artwork is about texture, lighting, and composition. We're going to go into the Chase Freedom series. And I did these in 2016. Chase Freedom was about people being free from either slavery or their burdens. And I used color and texture on each of them and broke them up. And it's mainly the main person in there is a woman, and they're with many men around her, helping her out, and some she's trying to get away from, sometimes she's trying to keep them close to him. And you can see the different phases as they go through it. There's something different in, like, this one has clouds in it, where the others didn't have clouds in it. And pyramids. This one brings two women together. One's fading from the past, and one's fully, so you can see it's in the present. Here it brings in the woman from the past, the woman from the present, and the woman for the future. This is one of the Chasing Freedom that has the woman from the present looking through life in general. This is a combination of all of the chasing up until this point, which is, there were 6 of them that I put into this one, and I piled them in there, and it came out with different figures on top of figures, and some of the figures created figures. This one was breaking apart from all of them and working with the background. And as you can see, I use a filter for here to get these like stick figures coming through there, like there's pegs or peg floor. This one brings the fella back into it and has the woman fading. This one was a break from all the rest of them, and I was just working with color and texture on this one. Okay, the next series that we're going to talk about is the Shadow People series. And the Shadow People are people in silhouette, either dancing or in crowds, and they're always translucent. And I have a piece of it behind me. Right here is the Shadow People's 2, which I will show you in a little bit in the sharing. So here's a better look at the shadow 2, and it's dealing with texture and a lot of movement with the people and crowds. And then I brought the shadows behind me. So I usually just cut out my figure, and I have a whole lot of pictures because I did the CD for the music that you heard, and we did a photo shoot, and the photographer did an amazing job, Lloyd Green, and he gave me a whole bunch of pictures that I can use on different things, and gave me free range with it. Here's another one showing the progression of the color and the density and the, not the density, but the fewer figures in this one. Here's going with more figures and like a fiery sky. This is when the shadow people become real and they start to bulge out and become stone figures. This is when they're in transition between the shadow figures and the stone figures, having interaction with each other. This is when I was using color to portray all the stone figures as shadow people. This is when I changed the figure to a stone figure and multiplied each of them. And most of these, like I said, they have, these at this time would have like 20 to 30 different layers when I was building them up. And here's the last one of the shadow people when I tried to bring all of it together. Next, I'm going to do another demonstration. Actually, I did this one earlier today, and I'm going to show you, we're going to build on top of it. So I start with a black screen, and then I add color to it. And I just arbitrarily put the color down until it looks like what I'm looking for in my mind. So and then with the color, I put in a blend option. And this blend option is a beveled emboss. And the bevel and emboss is water effect. And then what I did was put a tree water and beveled emboss together with a human silhouette. And then I copied that silhouette and flipped it over and changed it to a multiply instead of normal. And then what I did was take both of those figures and turn them back to back. And then made them smaller. And then I made them even smaller and put them on top of each other. And then I started adding different lighting to it and clouds to it. And more lighting. And then I added hair to it and put filters on top of those so that when it prints out, it'll look like it's texture coming through the hair. And then added the light in between the middle right here. Added that light. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is do one from scratch. So you get the full feel of it instead of just me running through the different layers. And that's 14 layers there. And I just did that this morning. So we start with a black background. I usually use blue for the sky. Yellow, I usually put it in for the sun or something like that. Then I get a brown color for the ground. And then I'll go up to the filter and put a filter on there. And I like the pyramid filter for the extrude. And then I'm going to add another filter on top of that so it'll look more like it's on canvas. And then I'm going to duplicate that and then put an emboss on there. And texture emboss. And I'm going to use the water one again. So from there, I'm going to another layer. I'm going to get a light color to make clouds. Let's go with that color. Go to filter, and this is just working on the background. And then I'm going to make that so that it'll come out right there. And you can see that I use some of the same colors. And then I try to change up a little by lightening them or darkening them with the opacity thing. Okay, so I'm going to get another layer and add a figure to it. Load that up. Okay, so now I'm going to draw in the figure. Put some color to it. Copy it. Now all of you can I lost it. So if you would like to see more of my work, you can go to silentpresencegallery.org or go on website on YouTube and go to Craig Scriven. That's SCREVEN. And go to my channel there. Or you can see me on Facebook under Silent Presence Gallery, or Instagram under Silent Presence Gallery. Or you can go to the store work and difficult. You got pulled out.
I always come on here and forget to unmute myself. Thanks, Karen. Um, I'm always talking. It's talking. You can really hear me. It's something wrong with your mic. No. I always get on here and start talking and forget to unmute myself. It is always a pleasure watching Craig work, because Craig shows us so many things to do on, if you don't know how to use Photoshop or you're just getting in, Craig always shows us some pretty amazing things. Thanks, Eric. Pretty amazing things. And every time I watch, he shows me, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that the next time when I'm doing Photoshop, because I work in Photoshop, but I'm not a master at it like Craig is. And that's why I enjoy watching Craig work and do his digital magic. And the layers that he put on are absolutely amazing. How many layers he put on when he's working these things out. So it's always a pleasure to have Craig, and I'm so happy that he's a part of the Beauty of Blackness Fine Art Show. We can't wait to see what he'll be showing us tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in and see Craig tomorrow, and go and visit his page. Go and make a purchase. He has some really awesome work in there. I know some of you are like, digital work? Well, you know what? Craig puts a lot of work into those digital pieces, and he definitely has a voice in there, and they're really, really nice pieces. So I would say go over and buy some of Craig's work, make a purchase in Craig's gallery, because they're really nice things. And we did something new. You can actually go from the store to the you can go from the gallery to the store now, just by clicking that link in the right-hand corner. That used to be the Zoom link. Your Zoom links will be in a different place tomorrow. So go ahead and click on that and make a purchase from Craig, because he has some awesome, awesome, awesome work. And I think you would enjoy it. So we're going to move on. I think Craig's trying to come back in, but I don't see him. If he does get to come back in, we'll come have him up, and you guys can ask him some questions, and we can go from there. So we're going to move on. I know we have a musical talent today. But I did want to show you guys, and I'm just going to see if I can bring it up. Not because I did want to show our speaker tomorrow is, you see, I have my little computer right here now. Our speaker tomorrow is Anthony Jason Sturdivant. Oh, there's Craig. Hold on, let me bring him up. There he is. Craig, can you hear me? Craig, can you hear me? I can see you, but I can see you down here, but I can't see you. Okay, so Craig's having a little technical difficulties coming back up, and that's okay. When he comes back up, we'll still say, hey, Craig. It's always nice to be able to talk to Craig. And I'm just going to see if you can pull up this video. Our speaker tomorrow is Anthony J. Sturdivant, and he is a writer-producer from Chicago. And he has done some amazing things in the area of gun violence and things like that. He has created a video called Think Before You created videos called Think Before You Shoot. He was actually in a TED Talk at Columbia College in Chicago. And so I'm just going to show you some excerpts, because he will be on at 12 o'clock tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it, because he will be showing his latest video that is addressing domestic violence. And I think you guys would love that one. So we just want to say, see Craig. Hey, Craig, you got back in.
So
Okay, so can you hear me, Craig? All right, so we might have to talk to Craig tomorrow, because I think he's still experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties. Not a lot, but I think he's still experiencing a little bit. So we might have to talk to Craig tomorrow. Let's see. Can you hear me, Craig? Yeah, I'm thinking we'll have to talk to Craig tomorrow. So I'm going to bring up, all right, Craig, we'll talk to you tomorrow. And then we'll be able to chat with Craig a little bit, because I would love to chat with Craig a little bit. So we're going to bring up Anthony Sturdivant, and we're just going to bring up his TED Talk that he's having, he did at Columbia University. And he's the young man that will be with us on tomorrow at 12 o'clock, speaking and also showing his video, his latest video. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of excerpts into what he does. And then we're going to have our musical guest today. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of what his video is. And I probably should unmute it.
I mean, other than the fact that I would never get adjusted to the weather here, I mean, I think it's pretty amazing. Also, I know that growing up in Chicago, there has been a lot of negativity in the news about gun violence. So I'm just really thankful to be able to stand here and represent my city in a positive way. I know that this city is an amazing place to be, but it's not all good in communities like mine and others like it as well. As you all may know, there is a major issue with gun violence in a lot of low-income communities in Chicago. And with these senseless shootings, it's resulting to a lot of innocent people being killed as well as our youth being killed. But the sad part about the fact is that these perpetrators are just kids themselves as well. It's really to the point where the saying, to be aware is to be alive, really does apply to everyday life when growing up in these communities. For example, let me tell you a story about 3 young men at a barbershop. You had one by the name of Marcus who owned the barbershop, and then there was another named Eddie who was the cousin of Marcus, and then you had Jason who was the friend of both. And one summer night, as they were getting ready to call it a night and head home, they had 2 strange visitors into the shop. One of the guys had a limp in his walk as if he was carrying something on his waist, and the other was asking if they had change for 100. Now, the fact that it was so late and people were walking around looking for change for 100, it kind of made things feel a little suspicious. So Marcus and Jason decided that they were going to go next door to a restaurant to see if they had that change that they were looking for. Of course, they were aware that something wasn't right. So as they went next door to get change, they noticed that Eddie never came out. So thinking quickly, Jason decides to go back next door to check on Eddie, only to find out that the robbers had a gun pointed to the back of Eddie's head. At the time, he wasn't aware of what was going on because he was half asleep in the barbershop. So Jason decides to kick the door in order to distract the robbers and try to run off. And let's just say that the distraction worked, but the attempt to run off wasn't so successful, as the robbers now had the gun pointed to the back of Jason's head, telling him don't move or they'll shoot. At the moment, Jason said that while the robber was going in his pockets, all he could think about was the people's reaction around him. He was hoping that no one triggered this perpetrator to shoot. He said that he noticed that the people in the restaurant was watching from the window nervously. There were people across the street watching curiously. And then there was a young lady running inside the restaurant with her son as they were running to safety. During this time, Jason notices that his friend Eddie is now sneaking across the street to safety. One of the robbers decided to let Eddie go, and they were advising the robber who now had Jason to do the same so that they could get away before the police come. But before the robber decides to let Jason go, he had to threaten Jason's life a couple of times. So he just kept yelling to him, I should shoot you. What else do you have? But eventually he does decide to let Jason go as they ran away before the police come. But you can see how an ordinary day at the barbershop can turn into a life-threatening situation. Here it is that you had someone who was just trying to get a haircut and just hang out, and now you have 2 robbers threatening their lives. At this time and at this rate, what if that shooter had not thought and instead shot this innocent victim? In far too many situations, that is the case where they're not thinking and they're just shooting. And it's resulting to a lot of innocent victims having their lives taken away before they can be that future leader, that doctor, or that writer, or that inspiring person who's looking to ultimately create change, not only in their community, but around the world. And with that being said, I would like to introduce myself personally. My name is Anthony Jason Sturtevant. And I am that innocent victim from that 2009 robbery, which could have taken my life. Yet today I stand in front of you as an award-winning screenwriter, producer, community activist, leader, and the president and founder of Think Before You Shoot. share these messages
Okay,
and help encourage change.
That is Anthony J. Sutherland, and he will be here tomorrow showing his latest film, and it is on domestic violence. And I think you definitely want to tune in. I'm not going to show all of his TED Talk. You're probably like, I want to see the rest of it. No sound. I can't. Oh, you couldn't. Oh no, you couldn't hear it. Darn it. Okay. Sorry about that. Well, he'll be here tomorrow. Oh darn. You guys couldn't hear it. No sound, no sound. All right, hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna rewind it back to his one. That should have had sound to it. So you guys couldn't even hear it. Went through all of that and you couldn't even hear it. All right. Well, sorry about that. I didn't know the sound wasn't on. I thought the sound was on. So we will, well, I guess I'll do a little bit of it. Hold on. I'll do a little bit of his story because his story is really, really powerful. So let's do a little bit of his story and see if you guys can hear a little bit of his story of how, okay, let's go back and we'll do a little bit of his story.
And it's Anthony J. Police. But before the robber decided, while the robber was going in his pockets, and decided that there were 3 young men at a barbershop. You had one by the name of Marcus who owned the barbershop, and then there was another named Eddie who was the cousin of Marcus, and then you had Jason who was the friend of both. And one summer night, as they were getting ready to call it a night and head home, they had 2 strange visitors into the shop. One of the guys had a limp in his walk as if he was carrying something on his waist, and the other was asking if they had change for 100. Now, the fact that it was so late and people were walking around looking for change for 100, it kind of made things feel a little suspicious. So Marcus and Jason decided that they were going to go next door to a restaurant to see if they had that change that they were looking for. Of course, they were aware that something wasn't right. So as they went next door to get change, they noticed that Eddie never came out. So thinking quickly, Jason decided to go back next door to check on Eddie, only to find out that the robbers had a gun pointed to the back of Eddie's head. At the time, he wasn't aware of what was going on because he was half asleep in the barbershop. So Jason decides to kick the door in order to distract the robbers and try to run off. And let's just say that the distraction worked, but the attempt to run off wasn't so successful, as the robbers now had the gun pointed to the back of Jason's head, telling him don't move or they'll shoot. At the moment, Jason said that while the robber was going in his pockets, all he could think about was the people's reaction around him. He was hoping that no one triggered this perpetrator to shoot. He said that he noticed that the people in the restaurant was watching from the window nervously. There were people across the street watching curiously. And then there was a young lady running inside the restaurant with her son as they were running to safety. During this time, Jason notices that his friend Eddie is now sneaking across the street to safety. One of the robbers decided to let Eddie go, and they were advising the robber who now had Jason to do the same so that they could get away before the police come. But before the robber decides to let Jason go, he had to threaten Jason's life a couple of times. So he just kept yelling to him, and now you have 2 robbers threatening their lives. At this time, and at this rate, what if that shooter had not thought and instead shot this innocent victim? In far too many situations, that is the case where they're not thinking and they're just shooting. And it's resulting to a lot of innocent victims having their lives taken away before they can be that future leader, that doctor, or that writer, or that inspiring person who's looking to ultimately create change, not only in their community, but around the world. And with that being said, I would like to introduce myself personally. My name is Anthony Jason Sturtevant, and I am that innocent victim from that 2009 robbery, which could have taken my life. Yet today, I stand in front of you as an award-winning screenwriter, producer, community activist, leader, and the president and founder of Think Before You Shoot. So it's not a lot of people who get an opportunity to walk away from that type of situation and grow into who they want to be. So what I decided was I had to figure out a way to help change what was going on in our community. Um, so what I did was I actually went and I started a organization called Think Before You Shoot with my first film that I released in 2011. At the time, I was educating myself into how to be a screenwriter and independent filmmaker. Think Before You Shoot is an organization that utilizes short films and student outreach programs in order to stress the importance of thinking before participating in the act of gun violence. And what I wanted to do with these short films was I wanted to create a certain level of success that will help develop more students. And then I also wanted to provide the world with something that will be entertaining yet deliver positive messages. So Think Before You Shoot, the film actually started off as an improv idea. I was demonstrating to someone how creative I could be as a writer. I was telling them how cool it would be to create a series of films that will not only deliver positive messages, but that will entertain people enough to make them want to also share this message. I thought about how I could add 3 certain concepts to these films that will also educate people.
Okay, so we will be seeing Mr. Anthony Sturdivant tomorrow, and I'm hoping that you guys will tune in for his talk and to actually see his latest film, because you can see he has definitely gone through some things, and he has come out of it by wanting to help others and producing film that addresses a lot of the issues that go on in the world today. And Think Before You Shoot is one of those. And actually, you can look them up. Think Before You Shoot under Anthony J. Sturdivant. He's done several. I think he's done at least 6 of them, and they're all pretty powerful to watch. So definitely go and check him out. He will be here tomorrow at 12. And he'll be showing, like I said, he'll be showing his latest film. So definitely share this with your friends. Let them know. If you know anyone that has children or anyone that has suffered from domestic violence or things like that, let them know. Or just have friends that say, hey, you guys want to check this guy out. Definitely share, because it will be great. It's a great film, and it'll be very enlightening. So I definitely want you guys to go and check it out. Come by tomorrow at 12 and check out the rest of the show. Tomorrow's the last day. Come in tomorrow. We're going to have a little after party. We'll be giving out some of the show links, so some of the guests can come into the broadcast, hang out with us, hang out with artists, hang out and have some fun. So we will be inviting guests into the broadcast. So definitely come by tomorrow so you can come to the Beauty of Blackness Fine Art Show after party. That's what we're calling it, the after party. So make sure you are into. I think Craig came back through. Hi, Craig. You came back.
Hi. Don't know what the technical difficulty was, but
well, you just never know. You just never know. So
yeah.
We're going to do. I think Pancho came through too. Pancho, did you come in too? Pancho,
I had my 45 minutes too.
You did have your 45 minutes. You handled it like a champ. I am so glad. You did a fantastic job. So you did a great job. Now tomorrow we got 30 minutes, and then we're gonna have at the end us an after party. We're gonna party it up right here on the broadcast. So you tell people. I saw your sister came in.
Yeah.
It was good seeing her. What is that? This is Deborah Reynolds. Who is that? Oh, is this somebody who's that? Deborah Reynolds. Well, hi, Deborah. How are you? How are you doing? So tomorrow we're gonna hoop it up and have a great time, and hopefully bring in some more sales and all of that kind of stuff for everybody. And we're looking forward to seeing Jason. We're gonna bring in we have a young singer tonight, and he's going to close us out. Timothy Cutler, if he's still in the room. Timothy, are you still
All right.
there? Okay, come on in. We're gonna bring him in. This is Timothy Cutler. He is a singer, actor, baseball player, just a conglomerate of tons of things. And he's just gonna share a little bit about what the song that he's going to perform for us. So, hi Timothy, how are you? Okay. Can you share with them a little bit about the song that you're going to sing?
It's about a woman being mobile. It's from Pop Rock, and it's about a woman moving from man to man. It's about a guy who just dumped his soon-to-be wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the title of it?
Lato na e mo.
And that's a Italian song?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Italian song. Okay, well, thank you, Timothy. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on. Here we go. Let's see. So this is Timothy performing his La Donne Mobile. So let's go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna put it in a full screen. Here we go. Sorry about that. There we go.
It's fun.
Today.
La donna mobile con dentro tutta cielo e pensiero sempre una mobile che ho visto impianto e pensiero. La donna mobile con tutta cielo e pensiero. Sempre mi sarò chi ne saprà, chi le confida al proprio cuore. Ormai non sentirsi sia pieno, chi sul cielo la donna mobile con vento, tutta cielo e ansia.
All right. Thank you, Timothy Cutler. He was going to do that live, but he had several things going on today, and so it just made for a better allowing him to just record it and just come in and just share a little bit. As you can see, he's 16, and he's a singer, and he loves to do acting. So that was a treat for us to be able to have Timothy come and sing a little bit of an Italian song entitled La Donne Mobile. So, all right. So I think we're going to. It's 6:36, and yeah, thanks, Michelle. She said, "Yay to Timothy." So, Craig, did you want to share anything else before you go? Oh, I can't hear you, Craig. I can't hear you.
Just to come back tomorrow and see the show through the beginning. Don't we start at 9 Mountain
9
Time?
tomorrow Mountain Time. Yes, we do. We start
Yeah.
at 9 Mountain Time.
And I'm on at 3:15 Mountain Time.
That's right. Craig's on at 3:15. We'll walk everybody. I'll walk you guys through. So Craig will be on at 3:15, Craig?
3:15.
Craig will be on at 3:15 Mountain Time. So you guys definitely come through. I just want to let you know, we do 2 separate broadcasts, and I'll tell you why. We have a morning, it's sort of like it's not an afternoon broadcast. About 4 o'clock, we go over to the second broadcast because Facebook only allows for 8 hours of broadcasting. YouTube allows for 12, but since we're broadcasting on both YouTube and Facebook, we have to break it up because we're doing more than 8 hours. We're doing about 9 hours, and so we break it off about 4 o'clock, and then we go into our second broadcast. So we do 2 broadcasts a day. So if you are watching one broadcast and say, hey, the person I wanted to see isn't in this one, just wait, and the second broadcast will pop up, and you'll be able to watch that second broadcast. We normally start that second broadcast before the first broadcast ends, so they both are playing simultaneously at the same time. So you are so welcome to bounce in and out of either one of them, because we will let that whole 7 hours go in the first broadcast, and then whole 8 hours go, and then we'll be in the second broadcast doing our thing and hanging out and having a lot of fun. So I just want to let you guys know that there are 2 broadcasts a day. We just discovered Facebook only. Their Facebook's like, nope. And trust me, they do shut off at 8 hours. It will shut me down. It will shut me down. Facebook will shut me down in 8 hours. I ran it.
That's
Right. I did a practice. Craig, remember we did a practice just to see if Facebook really would shut you down in 8 hours. And yes, they will. They'll shut you down in 8 hours. So thank you so much, Craig, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
See you later.
Good evening. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So I'm just going to go over a little bit about how our website works, and then we're going to go ahead and check out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So what you want to do is go and visit the artists. Go and visit the artists. They love being visited. Just click on 2020 artists, and I've made it very convenient for you now, because if you click on their page, you can go right to their store. You can go right to this store just by clicking on the link in their right-hand column. You don't have to leave out of the store and then go there. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to leave out of the room and go to their store. You can go right to the store by clicking on the link in the right-hand column. So you can click right on that link and go right into their store so that you can make a purchase in their artwork. Also, if you want to see their work, just scroll down and you'll see some of their beautiful work, some of their absolutely amazing work. Scroll down, and then you can just go by and just look at all the artwork and just enjoy seeing it. Click on it if you want to get a good picture of it and see the title, so that you're able to go into the store and pick that piece of artwork out. So you can pick out the title. We also have bios in there, so you can read their bios and learn about them, learn who they are. But honestly, watching this show, you'll learn so much about them. Bear in mind, this show is set up to be a virtual art show, a virtual fine art festival. Only you get even more because you get to learn and get to really, really know the artists. You get to know who they are, how they work. You get to know so much more about them that you wouldn't get to know if you were actually at a face-to-face art festival. Here, these artists have been showing you some of the most amazing things that they do. They've been showing you their artwork. They've been showing you their process. They've been showing you their material use. And they've been telling you their how they go about doing things, their thought processes, their philosophies, their schedule, how they do their art, their how they discipline themselves when they're, to do the art that they do, how they go about doing things. So definitely come tomorrow. Tomorrow is our big day, last day. Woo, woo, woo. Come and hoop it up with us at the after party. We're going to do an after party tomorrow where we'll be inviting some of our guests into the broadcast. So make sure that you're around for that, because we will be inviting some of the guests into the broadcast, sending them out some links so that they can come and join in the broadcast with us and have some fun. So definitely tune in tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to go ahead and sign out. I know it's just a tad bit early, but we're going to go ahead and sign out. And thank you so, so much for joining in, hanging out with us, watching the show. We are so excited about the show. So I will see you guys tomorrow, you amazing people. Bye-bye.